In case you missed it, the news wrote, new updates are happening in Tupac's murder case. Rappers in the industry from Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, and Diddy are about to be arrested and questioned, where it's likely this interview from Snoop Dogg that made the feds begin to wonder his involvement in the crime.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
As later on, Snoop would mention that he was supposed to be in the BMW, but last minute changes, he didn't go. This was likely due to Snoop, Tupac, and Suge having an altercation just a day prior.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I liked their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
With all of that happening within 72 hours of Tupac's murder, the police are suspicious. 2 decades ago, Snoop was heavily tapped into the streets. Many speculate Snoop could have received a tip that Tupac was going to be targeted on that night, which avoided him from getting in that car. The feds then found another interview where Snoop claimed that 2 days before Tupac died, he felt that Tupac hated him.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York, and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like them. I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
This has raised major red flags within the police department in Las Vegas. The entire internet would also go into a frenzy with everyone investigating it. This then led into a viral thread that revealed Snoop Dogg got word of Tupac allegedly being a Fed. Now let me explain. One interview from an officer revealed Tupac was an industry plant with a job of stopping the beef between the red and blue street teams.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
This plan obviously did not work. He then suddenly passed away, but it makes sense as to why Snoop Dogg didn't want to be near him in Las Vegas on that night if he got word that Tupac was a Fed. But while one police force is investigating the murder of Tupac, there's another investigating Tupac still being alive. Their evidence file would leak online, beginning with a 2010 interview from a rapper named Tretch. In 2010, Tretch was interviewed on the topic of Tupac before a concert. Him and Tupac were very close friends back in the day. They even worked on an album together, but here's where it gets weird. After Tretch's interview, the cameraman forgot to stop recording. He placed his camera onto the floor, and in the footage, you can hear the interviewer asking him about Tupac, to which he responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question. Pop's still alive.
Nobody knows.
Y'all good? Yeah, we good. We good. Thanks a lot, man. We good.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Then only 1 week later, a video would be leaked onto a news website showing a video of Tupac supposedly chilling in a parking lot inside of Cuba.
Look, zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
This would even make Suge Knight speak out, and he would agree that Tupac is alive and living well. He has said so in so many interviews over the course of the last 2 decades now. One interview in particular makes it very obvious. He would state that Tupac was apparently doing fine in the hospital before his passing. He says in quote, "I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can turn from doing well to doing bad."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But what's weird about this is, according to police records, Tupac was allegedly in a coma. So how in the world would he and Suge be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? It doesn't seem to add up. However, when you look at a 2008 interview, 10 years apart, Suge said the exact same thing, that Tupac is alive and that he's living well.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Standing on his word for over a decade that Tupac is alive, you may be wondering why he stopped mentioning it for over a decade. Well, after the 2008 interview, Suge Knight was targeted in one of the clubs that he owns. A man walked in with firearms and used it in his direction 6 times. Suge Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything, but he immediately knew that it was due to him talking about Tupac just a week prior in that interview. But it gets even scarier as Suge Knight's own son, Suge Jr., made the same mistake. In 2018, Suge Knight's son took it to Instagram stating that Tupac was alive and that he was living in Malaysia. Right after, Suge Jr. would then post this. Another photo to Instagram showing a text conversation where somebody messaged him, "You have said too much. It's now time for you to go." This is when Suge Knight's son posted a photo of Tupac alongside modern day celebrities like 50 Cent and Beyonce. He made it seem like someone was going after him for leaking all the info, as on the photo with Beyonce, he captioned it, "He never left us, but they'll be after me soon." While some believe that it was a publicity stunt for Suge Jr. to gain social media clout, others believe that it's factual. He would be the one to know more about the case than anyone else, considering his father was at the scene of the crime, and his father is literally Suge Knight. Now, when you compare this to the police records of all the evidence they have about Tupac's murder, you actually start to see the holes in the story. In September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with the head of his record label named Suge Knight. The two were off at the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match, as after it was over, they spotted an op in the lobby of the hotel.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Security would end up breaking up the altercation between Tupac, Suge, and the ops, while Tupac and Suge would then go back to their hotel to change their clothes. They would then hop into their BMW and drive off to a club to go party it up for the night. At around 11 p.m., they began heading to the club. Things would go down right in the middle of the street, as no one was expecting what would happen next.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
The aftermath of the incident was a mystery for almost 2 decades, but the police just found something in 2025 that broke the case wide open. It begins with a concerning interview by a man named Keefe D on DJ Vlad's show. During the interview, it begins with him detailing the moments of finding Tupac and pulling up on him.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
Got to the light. We was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
Keefe D would then realize that Tupac was only targeted because he was reaching for his firearm. He didn't even understand what was about to go down until he saw one of his homies pull a firearm out and use it before Tupac did.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car...
That's what happened.
...started at Tupac and Suge.
Tupac already knew something was gonna go down. That's why he was getting ready, but sadly he wasn't fast enough. But later on, Keefe D would then release his own police interrogation on the night of the crime. It's never been before seen, but he released it to confirm that he was actually there.
Lane starts to... you say Suge looks over, he sees you?
Yeah.
He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the line.
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was...
So Orlando Jonathan's car crossed Dre?
He leaned over on the window, we rolled down the window.
But also during the police investigation, they found Keefe D's reaction to Tupac passing away, showing his true emotions.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. Hate that happen. Probably to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
But this is where things get very weird. Keefe D wrote an entire book on being involved in Tupac's passing. It's titled Compton Street Legend, and it includes interviews hinting towards doing the crime. Many wonder why he's now just being arrested for it after 8 years of the book's release. Fans believe it's a cover-up, that more and more evidence is being found that Tupac is alive, so throwing an elderly man inside a jail for the murder would silence all of the rumors. But what do you think? Is Tupac still alive?